But if you want to stay on the planet longer and not have 15, 20 years of struggle, this is where you can be the creator of something different. And that probably will be part of your story and probably part of what you teach moving forward. Because we work things out or we act it out through our money, our health, or our relationships. It's where it's showing up in your life. And as we age, I don't know if you guys know this, but what happens is when we don't feel our emotions and we suck it up and chuck it up and move on, that energy of those emotions actually stores in your physical system somewhere. And it always stores in the weak spots of your body. And that storage, what happens over years is you get used to responding to the world of sucking it up and chalking it up. And so those emotions energetically start building. And then that building of that energy in those areas of the body is actually that cumulative energy is what creates disease in our bodies. And we don't even realize that this is happening. So like if somebody calls and they tell me that they've got some health stuff going on, I'm going, okay, their money stuff is probably stabilized, but something's going on because people will ping pong between those. And so that's why I'm always asking questions in different areas of their life. And also it's, I have those strategic alliances to support those people in those other aspects. And then I'm like a trusted advisor because I'm helping the whole person, not just a part of you. Think of it like a doctor. I'm like a functional medicine doctor where it's the whole system, not just your heart. Okay. The biggest thing for you is you say you're not a dreamer. Well, you have to build the muscle to be a dreamer. And what I mean by that is people are like, so when you first said that, I was like, oh, she needs to walk around and just tap her heart and say, what do you want? What do you want? It's tapping into that heart. You guys ever heard of an organization called heartmath.org? They measured with these two satellites on both, they were these peaks of when the magnetic force of the earth was off the charts. And then this one time it hit 4.1 times its normal reading, which was the highest they've ever seen. And that was on 9/11. And they're like, what's making the magnetic force do that on 9/11? They realized, because they analyzed the other peaks, when Mother Teresa died, when Princess Diana died, when The Bachelor picked his first final person, because it's the most world-renowned show, it's the human heart that actually causes the magnetic force of the earth to spike. So they realized that the human heart is the biggest magnet. And this is why your dreams are the things that make you giggle. So I always tell people, what makes you giggle the most? They'll ask me, what's the smart financial move? I'll be like, which one makes you giggle more? Yeah. That's actually what opens up the magnet and the attraction to pull in more of what it is that your heart desires. Right? Which results in more money, better health, more love, more abundance in all areas of life. So my story is that I was sexually molested by a Catholic priest when I was 5 years old, and he was a family friend. I didn't realize how that impacted how much my not enough button. I was always trying to prove I was enough being a woman because somehow that wired into me that I wasn't enough. And it came out in the men that I dated and the guy that I married and everything else. So I couldn't do my way out of anything. So when I first got divorced, because I finally realized there was never enough that I could do to satisfy my ex-husband because his demands just got bigger and bigger and bigger. To the point that I was like, but you're an at-home dad. You refuse to change your kids' diapers in the middle of the night. And you have 2 nannies. I'm like, and you won't go get a job. I finally was just like, I'm done. But it took like enormous amount of something. And I'm going, I am really smart. Why am I putting up with this in a marriage? Because no one in my family had ever gotten divorced. And it hit my shame button. And when I finally just said, I'm not plugging into the world authentically being myself by playing this game in this relationship like this. To where I had to, and the man that I'm dating today and I live with my kids, I'll never forget the day we all got in the car. We have 6 kids combined. And he said, they're all barking out where they all want to go to dinner. And he goes, we're going to sit here until your mother decides where she wants to eat. What her heart's desire was. You guys, I could not figure out what my heart desired because my brain kept going to, well, if I go here, Bridget's going to complain. If I go here, Michael can't have shellfish. And like, I was trying to pacify it for everybody. Like, that's a lot of what us women do, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes, we're going to sit here. And I was like, and he knew my favorite places. And he goes, well, what about this? What about that? And you hear the on the back of the car. And so I picked one of them that made me giggle. And I'll tell you, it didn't make my kids giggle. But it started to open me back up to what was authentically me. And so literally I would walk around and go, all right, heart, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And no matter how obnoxious it was, when it popped in what it was, I went and did it. And I didn't care who I disappointed, who I pissed off, what appointments I canceled. I was choosing to follow my own heart because I knew I needed to get that in alignment or I was going to get sick, because that's what I teach. You see so many people after they retire, they get sick because they don't go for the next adventure. I had a really good friend of mine who did ayahuasca. I kept telling her she was going to get sick. She was going to get sick. She was she's a COO of a very large financial firm. And I said, Carrie, you're going to get sick. I go, you need to go to the jungle with me because you and I are wired the same way. And sure as heck, she got rheumatoid arthritis and it went rampant and it played havoc. And then we're at a conference and she goes down, she's walking down the hallway. She goes, Julie Murphy, get back here. And she goes, what's this crap in the jungle I got to do? So she trusted me and she went and worked with the shamans, and the rheumatoid arthritis is no longer in her system. Miracle, because it rewires you back to your authentic self. But the way you plug into the world today is what's created the rheumatoid arthritis. So you're going to have to plug in differently. And that's scary sometimes because it's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't know, right? But if you want to stay on the planet longer and not have 15, 20 years of struggle, this is where you can be the creator of something different. And that probably will be part of your story and probably part of what you teach moving forward. Do you want to experience free coaching based on my 25 plus years as being a financial planner and ask me any question that you want to ask me to help you get past that hurdle in your financial world? I run these free workshops every other month to start to open you up, to start to help you get to this next place. The information for my free workshop, click the link below and register, and I'll see you on the next workshop.